Welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Predator. Yes, the original Arnold Schwarzenegger 1987 film from 20th Century Fox. This is an hour and 47 minutes long. It was, of course, acquired by Disney, and believe it or not, the reason why I'm actually doing this, it's not a Hulu exclusive. It's not courtesy of Hulu. It's literally on Disney Plus, along with three other older Predator films. Of course, Predator Badlands, which is the brand new one that came out earlier this year. Did it have? No, it came out late last year, right? It had to have. I'm lost all track of time. But yeah, that of course is a Hulu exclusive, as well as like Prey and Killer of Killers, which is an animated anthology, all of which are worthwhile checking out. But yeah, I'm not here to talk about them. I'm here to talk about the original. And this, of course, coming out in 1987, this is in the height of those kind of action movies, especially starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, where there's lots of violence and lots of machismo and lots of just muscles and guns and action and testosterone. And, of course, Schwarzenegger dropping catchy one-liners before he kills a bad guy. And this, for the most part, if you didn't know what was going in when you were going into this, it looks like a military film. I think Platoon had just come out a few years before this, and army military kind of movies were pretty much pretty popular at the time. But you know what? I should have watched the trailer before I talked about this, only because I don't know how they had to have marketed it as a sci-fi thing, because it's an alien. This movie's almost 40 years old, so I'm gonna forego any kind of pretense that I'm going to not spoil things. There is an alien, not a xenomorph. There is an alien creature that is kind of like the Jaws of this film. They don't show him until into it more than an hour into the film. They show parts, they show him camouflaged, but you never get a good look at him until well into an hour of this hour and 47-minute film. And you get to see what Schwarzenegger and his pals are up against. This, by the way, effects by Stan Winston, and I have to say this: the score, the music is provided by Alan Silvestri, who you'd know him from a ton of films, and he has a certain style about him. If you want to get to understand what his scores sound like, what kind of instruments he leans heavily on in his orchestras, you get an idea of that. That's an Alan Silvestri score. You could do that with a number of movie composers. You get that with Hans Zimmer, and you get that with John Williams, of course. So they kind of have a vibe to them. Early on in this film, there's the opening sequence, for the most part on Earth. They do start with an alien ship floating through space and then something launching off of it. Then they cut to Earth, and they're in Central America, and we get to see like a colonel. I can't remember if he's like a general or a colonel. He's out there in the jungle, and he's just excitedly, calmly but proudly watching a helicopter come in and land. And he's really excited. Well, you know who's on that? That's got to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's Dutch in this film. That's his name. But there's so much. There's not a word spoken for what feels like 10 minutes. It's really probably closer to 5. But the entire sequence is very busy with music. And I know I'm really getting off the main topic here, but it's really busy with Alan Silvestri's score. And I'm like, is somebody playing like soundtrack from Back to the Future? Yes, Alan Silvestri did the score for Back to the Future films, but it felt so busy for what this man was doing, just looking, and you see a helicopter landing, and then you see Arnold Schwarzenegger walking into the room, and but man, when there wasn't talking, that was just some busy music in the background. And of course, you'll know the instruments if you watch this again, and if you know Back to the Future really well. It's not a one for one. It's not like some composers do. It's not like he lifted actual music from Back to the Future and threw it in. but it sounds so similar. It sounds so similar. But yeah, I think once you start doing that kind of thing, it becomes your trademark. So what we get here is an action film, just hard fighting. Eight guys or so. Carl Weathers is in this, of course, as well. He is the lead in Predator 2. How that works, I don't know. I get the feeling, I have to admit, that I don't know if I fully ever watched Predator. I know that's strange. It's a sci-fi movie from the 80s. It seems like I should have watched it. I'm pretty sure I have it down here in my VHS collection. I don't know. I'd have to dig, but I was never really into the Predator. If I watched it, it was probably on HBO, at some point. And maybe I just came in halfway through and I just didn't really pay attention to the rest of it. But it felt like I watched it. But after watching this, I don't know if I did. I don't know if I completely did. I kind of knew how it was going to end, and I recognized certain, lines, get to the chopper, and of course, the arm wrestling meme that we often see thrown about on social media between Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, just to show off their muscly arms. They're so muscly, and so yeah, we basically get a bunch of military guys thrown into a Central American jungle, one of the just really dangerous jungle, for a secret mission that probably isn't everything they thought it was going to be, and add to the fact that there's Predator in the jungle, and it's not what they ever imagined they'd run into. They weren't planning on. They probably figured they'd be fighting off, militias and different types of armies in the middle of the jungle on this what they thought was a rescue mission. Well, they didn't expect to fight an alien, and this alien is true to its name. He's a predator. He's hunting. He's not just, I'm just gonna zap people because I'm an alien. Zap zap zap. He's hunting, and he is specific to who he hunts and how he kills. Again, if you already know the Predator franchise, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. One thing, even though Disney technically all owns every 20th Century Fox thing, between Aliens and Predator, we don't have the Aliens versus Predator films. So I don't know if those will ever show up on Disney Plus. They're probably on Hulu. I'm pretty sure they're probably on Hulu, but because of the Predator Badlands thing, they just started dumping the movies into place. And yeah, like I was saying, I'm very surprised that these are natively on Disney Plus. I don't know how long they'll be like that, because they had this tendency to say, hey, look, we got this on Disney Plus, and then like a day later, as I discovered during my Lifetime Channel Christmas movie marathon in December, they just send them to Hulu. They're like, now it's just on Hulu. You're going to have to subscribe to Hulu to get it, right? It's locked now. And I've had Hulu. I will probably get Hulu at some point, but I'm trying to finish off my stuff without confusing confusing myself between what's on Hulu and what's on Disney Plus, because I got maybe a little more than 100 episodes left in this entire run. So, yeah. We just passed 2,300. We're going to probably make it to 2,400, according to my calculations, what I know is coming up. So, and they're constantly adding stuff. So if we make it to 2,500, which is unlikely, but it could happen if they decide to dump a bunch of stuff that they haven't put on before. So, all said, you get a big action movie, you get some quips while they think they're being funny. Well, because these guys are skilled military, they know how to take out a village of the enemy or whatever in any kind of part of the world that they're supposed to be in. They could pick and choose their battles. They're so good. When they're commanded, they're just like, I didn't feel like Libya, as Schwarzenegger says. I didn't feel like going to Libya. It was just not my style, basically, is what he's saying. So yeah, he knows his jungles, he knows how to fight, and so does everybody else. They each have as usual, they have their own, expertise, and most of them are bullheaded and just bad men who are used to killing anything they see if put in that situation. One of the more reprehensible characters is the great Jesse Ventura, who gets to chew chaw and spit it. He carries this mini gun. I don't know if it's a 50 cal. I'm not a big. I don't know my guns, but it's big, and you can just erase a jungle in front of you. And do you get to see that gun being used? You bet you do, a lot. You get to see it used pretty much. And will everybody survive? But no, you know that's gonna be the way it is. If you're unsure, if you didn't know already, the Predator is a master killer, and pretty much nobody, for the most part, survives. You get a final girl, which in the sense is technically Schwarzenegger in this. It has elements of horror to it because, between Stan Winston doing a lot of the effects, between the gore and the creature effects, and honestly, if you didn't already know what the Predator looks like, there's a point where he does take off his mask and Schwarzenegger gets a good look at him, as we do for the first time. That's what most people in 1987 would have been looking forward to after this tremendous battle and seeing an armored creature, and half the time it's invisible because it's got cloaking. To be able to have it take off its mask and fight hand to hand with Schwarzenegger was a big moment. It's something that everything was building up to, and it continues to pay off. That the Predator is still, while not easy to look at, it is still an iconic look. And for 1987, for being nearly 40 years old, it holds up. It looks really good. And we've had plenty of iterations of the Predators that I can't remember their alien species name offhand. Again, I'm not the expert that some of you are. I'm sure some of you could comment with the name of the species. I've heard it. I saw Predator Badlands and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, and they mention it a number of times in that film, I think. By the way, this is directed by John McTiernan. By the way, one of the most interesting things about this is Shane Black is one of the soldiers in this. He's, I think, one of the first to go. And if you don't know who Shane Black is, he's a guy who's gone on to direct Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and so many others, but including Iron Man 3. Some people's least favorite Iron Man film. It is my favorite. So I just like the way he does things. So yeah, he has spent some time as an actor before he started directing things. Sonny Landham, Richard Chavez, R.G. Armstrong. It was General. The general was the guy looking. And one of the most interesting bits about this that I did not know at all is that Optimus Prime himself, while he was not the body, Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, was the voice of the Predator. There's not a whole lot of dialogue, English dialogue anyway, that is in this film spoken by Peter Cullen. You hear a laugh, and it is somewhat electronic, but the body is Kevin Peter Hall was the Predator in this film. Just so you know, because we have these four films, I'm going to be watching a different Predator movie each Sunday until we run out of them or they take them away from us. Again, it could be removed tomorrow for all I know, and we'll have to come up with something new, but I'm going to watch them in order. And for now, as long as they don't take them away from us, Predator, and now Predator 2 next week. I'm skipping ahead, but Predator 2 is what we're watching next Sunday. And so you can be prepared to revel in the absolute joy that I'll be bringing each Sunday, kind of like I did with the 70th anniversary shorts walkthrough videos I did last year. I forgot to load this up. So, so this was, even if I had seen it, it felt like it was a brand new experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to treat it as if I hadn't seen it before. It's just because I can't convince myself that I did. And there's some movies that, with my eyes closed, I know I know the film's dialogue, the music, everything. Wrath of Khan, Star Trek Wrath of Khan is exactly like that. All the original Star Wars films, all of those are like that. So yeah, it's but Predator didn't stick for some reason. It's a weird one-off. So let's pick tomorrow's episode. But I'm glad I finally got to see it now, thanks to this series. 50. There we are. Okay. This is a different type of, it's a documentary, but it's a different type of war, different type of battle. This one is Love and War. And don't assume that it's something about relationships or anything else. It's I was going through to make sure that everything listed was still on Disney Plus, and everything is, and Love and War is, unless something changed since the other day. But we'll find out what it's all about next on with Love and War in the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.